So this is where some people can run amiss, and it's well-intentioned, is this politeness. And we talk about this, we evaluate it. We just recently changed our evaluation at our communication workshops at the apprenticeship. And without a doubt, politeness is a core communication skill. And as soon as we begin to learn language, our parents teach us to say please and thank you and excuse me and I'm sorry. It allows us to show basic human decency, and that reaffirms a lot of things. But what can happen is sometimes people are so concerned with saving face, especially when reaching out to somebody they admire, they might feel like is not their superior, but somebody that's just down a path that maybe they want to go down. And so they're so worried about saving face, they overdo it on the politeness, and then they cloud their ask. Now, it is worth a moment to talk about what face work is. This credit to Irving Goffman here. Face is one of the most important concepts in communication theory. And yes, I am talking about face, like a mask, a face. And really what it is this idea of face work is all about managing the impression others have of us. So Goffman, who introduced the concept of face work to modern audiences, really defined it as the positive social value that we claim for ourselves when we act in a particular way in a social situation. So if I'm very complimentary and I'm very polite, upfront, that is face work. We're feeling like, we think that we are being honorable and we think that we are doing the right thing here. So sometimes when people's message isn't received a certain way, Goffman would talk about it like they had, people would get mad or we'd get upset because we kind of had this spoiled identity. We thought we were coming across this way, but either because we didn't get that opportunity or somebody got offended, that didn't happen. And so then that kind of creates an issue. In essence, and there's this old Sesame Street clip where this guy has the little kid say, he has them repeat it, I am somebody. And it was this kind of call and response chant that the individual used when he was speaking to young people. I believe it was like Reverend Jesse Jackson, right? And it was all around the idea, this was like a long time ago, maybe the 80s, in an effort to bolster their self-worth. But that's what any of us do with face work. Anything that we try to do to present ourselves in the best light, being polite, trying to dress a certain way, trying to look a certain way, physically. So I think of a lot of strength coaches that, them even trying to look fit and in shape is a form of face work. It's all impression management. It is all how we change ourselves and try to manipulate in a good way. I mean, if you're doing it ethically, people's impression of ourselves. So in this case, this has gone so overboard with politeness because it's now some of you might be saying, well, I don't really think it's overboard with politeness. I'm asking you guys to consider, as somebody, and many of you get way more than me, but I can get over 100 emails a week. And so if all of a sudden there's 2 to 3 paragraphs that don't get to the point, it's not that I'm so self-important that I'm not going to read it, but it's like, I've got to manage that time. I'm a father, I'm a small business owner. And so there's a way to be polite, and we'll give you an example and still get to the point. So we're not really going to debate about it on this podcast. I just want you to understand that when you're 5 sentences in and you haven't made a clear ask, and that's the point of the email, that becomes an issue. All right.